So before this video primarily gets started, I'd like to apologize for all the rain noise outside. It was pretty heavily raining on the time of this recording, so for this video, I'm going to just be reading the original Railway series stories from the first book, starting with Edward's Day Out. Once upon a time, there was a little engine called Edward. He lived in a shed with 5 other engines. They were all bigger than Edward and boasted about it. "The driver won't choose you again," they said. "He wants big, strong engines like all of us." Edward had not been out for a long time, and he began to feel sad. Just then the driver and fireman came along to start work. The driver looked at Edward. "Why are you sad?" he asked. "Would you like to come out today?" "Oh, yes, please," said Edward. So the fireman lit the fire, and made a nice lot of steam. Then Edward's driver pulled the lever, and Edward puffed away. "Look at me now, look at me now!" The others were very cross at being left behind. Away Edward went to get some coaches. "Be careful, Edward," said the coaches. "Don't bump us and bang us like the other engines do." So Edward came up to the coaches very, very gently, then the shunter fastened the coupling. "Thank you, Edward," said the coaches. "That was kind. We are glad you are taking us out today." Then they went to the station where the people were waiting. Edward whistled again. "Get in quickly, please." So the people got in quickly, and Edward waited happily for the guard to blow his whistle and wave his green flag. He waited and waited, but there was no whistle. No green flag. Edward whistled again, getting anxious. "Where is the guard?" The driver and fireman asked the station master, "Have you seen the guard?" "No," he said. They asked the porter, "Have you seen the guard?" "Yeah, I have. I saw him last night," said the porter. Edward began to get cross. "Are we ever going to start?" he said. Just then a little boy shouted, "Here he comes!" And there the guard was running, down the hill, with flags in one hand and sandwich in the other. He ran onto the platform, blew his whistle, and jumped into his van. Edward puffed off. He did have a happy day. All the children ran to wave as he went past. He met some old friends at all the stations. He worked so hard that the driver promised to take him out again the next day. "I'm going out again tomorrow," he told the other engines that night in the shed. "What do you think of that?" But he didn't hear what they thought, for he was so tired and happy that he fell asleep at once. Edward and Gordon. One of the engines in Edward's shed was called Gordon. He was very big and very proud. "Do watch me this afternoon, little Edward," he boasted, "as I rush through with the express. That will be a splendid sight for you." Just then his driver pulled the lever. "Goodbye, little Edward," said Gordon as he puffed away. "Look out for me this afternoon." Edward ran off too to do some shunting. Edward liked shunting. It was fun playing with trucks. He would come up quietly and give them a pull. "Oh, oh, 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 oh!" screamed the trucks. "Whatever is happening?" Then he would stop, and the silly trucks would go bumping into each other. "Oh, oh, oh, oh!" they cried again. Edward pushed them until they were running nicely, and when they weren't expecting it, he would stop. One of them would be sure to run onto another line. Edward played around until there were no more trucks. Then he stopped to rest. Presently he heard a whistle. Gordon came puffing along very slowly and very crossly indeed. Instead of nice shining coaches, he was pulling a lot of dirty coal trucks. "A goods train, a goods train, a goods train," he grumbled. "The shame of it, the shame of it, the shame of it." He went slowly through with the trucks clattering and banging behind him. Edward laughed and went on to find some more trucks. Soon afterwards a porter came and spoke to his driver. "Gordon can't get up the hill. Will you take Edward to help him up, please?" And so they set off. They found Gordon halfway up the hill and very cross. His driver and fireman were talking to him severely. "You're not trying," said Keith, his driver. "I can't do it. The noisy trucks hold an engine back so. If they were coaches now, clean, sensible things that would come quietly, that would be different." Edward's driver came up. "We've come to push," he said. "No use at all." "You wait and see," said Edward's driver. They brought the train back to the bottom of the hill. Edward came up behind with the brake van ready to push. He whistled. "I'm ready," said Edward. "No good," from Gordon. The guard blew his whistle, and they pulled and pushed as hard as they could. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it, Gordon puffed. I will do it. I will do it. I will do it, puffed Edward. I can't do it. I will do it. I can't do it. I will do it. I can't do it. I will do it. They puffed together. Edward puffed and pushed and puffed and puffed and pushed as hard as ever he could, and almost before he realized it, Gordon found himself at the top of the hill. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it, he said proudly. He forgot all about kind Edward pushing behind, and he didn't wait to say thank you, but ran on so fast that he passed 2 stations before his driver could make him stop. Edward had pushed so hard that when he got to the top of the hill, he was out of breath. Gordon ran on so fast that Edward was left far behind. The guard waved and waved, but Edward couldn't catch up. He ran on to the next station, and there the driver and fireman said they were very pleased with him. The fireman gave him a nice long drink of water, and the driver said, I'll get out my paint tomorrow and give you a beautiful new coat of blue with red stripes. Then you'll be the smartest engine in the shed. Once, an engine attached to a train was afraid of a few drops of rain. It went into a tunnel, squeaked through its funnel, and would not come out again. The engine's name was Henry. His driver and fireman argued with him, but he would not move. The rain will spoil my lovely green paint and red stripes, he said. The guard blew his whistle till he had no more breath, and waved his flags till his arms ached, but Henry still stayed in the tunnel and blew steam at him. I'm not going to spoil my lovely green paint and red stripes for you, he said rudely. The passengers came out and argued too, but Henry would not move. A fat director who was on the train told the guard to get a rope. We will pull you out, he said, but Henry only blew steam at him and covered him in water. They hooked the rope on and all pulled, except for the fat director. My doctor has forbidden me to pull, he said hastily. They pulled and pulled and pulled, but still Henry stayed in the tunnel. Then they tried pushing from the other end. The fat director said, 1, 2, 3, push. But he did not help once again. My doctor has forbidden me to push, he said hastily once again. They pushed and pushed and pushed, but Henry still stayed in the tunnel. At last another red engine named Eagle came. The guard waved his flag and stopped Eagle. The 2 engine drivers, the 2 firemen, and the 2 guards went and argued with Henry. Look, it has stopped raining, they said. Yes, but it will begin again soon. It won't become my green paint and red stripes then, said Henry. So they brought the other engine up, and it pushed and puffed and pushed as hard as he could, but Henry still stayed in the tunnel. So they gave it up. They told Henry, we shall leave you there for always and always and always. They took up the old rails, built a wall in front of him, and cut a new tunnel. Now Henry can't get out, and he watches the trains rushing through the new tunnel. He's very sad because no one will ever see his lovely green paint with red stripes again. But I think he deserved it, don't you? Edward, Gordon, and Henry. Edward and Gordon often went through the tunnel where Henry had been shut up. Edward would whistle and say hello. Gordon would whistle and say serves you right. Poor Henry had no steam to answer, as his fire had gone out, and soot and dirt from the tunnel roof had spoiled his lovely green paint and red stripes by this point. He was cold, unhappy, wanted to come out and pull trains again. As for Gordon, he always pulled Soder's Express. He was proud of being the only engine strong enough to do so. There were many heavy coaches, full of important people like the fat director who had punished Henry. Gordon was seeing how fast he could go on this particular day. Hurry, 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 he panted. Trickety-truck, 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 said the coaches. Gordon could see Henry's tunnel in front. In a minute, he pulled a whistle at Henry and rushed through the tunnel and out into the open again. Closer and closer he came. He was almost there when there was a loud crack, and whoosh! He was in a cloud of steam and going slower and slower. His driver applied the brakes and stopped the train. What has happened to me? Said Gordon. I feel so weak. You've burst your safety valve, said the driver. He can't pull the train anymore. Oh dear, said Gordon. You're going so nicely, too. Look, there's Henry laughing at me. Gordon made a face at Henry and blew smoke at him. Everybody got out and came to see Gordon. Huh, said the fat director. I never liked these big engines, always going wrong. Sent for another engine at once. While the guard went to find one, they uncoupled Gordon and ran him onto a siding out of the way. The only engine left in the shed was Edward. I'll come and try, he said. Gordon saw him coming and laughed. Ho, that's no use. Edward can't pull the train. Edward puffed and pulled and pulled and puffed, but he couldn't move the heavy coaches alone. I told you, said Gordon rudely. Why not let Henry try? He's stronger, and he could probably do it. Yes, said the fat director, I will. Will you help pull this train, Henry? He asked. Yes, please, sir, said Henry at once. So Gordon's driver and fireman lit his fire, some plate layers broke down the wall, and put the rails back. And when he had steam up, Henry puffed out. He was dirty, his boiler was black, and he was covered with cobwebs. Oh, I'm so stiff, he groaned. You'd better have a run to ease your joints and find a turntable, said the fat controller kindly. Henry came back feeling better, and they put him in front. Edward whistled and said, I'm ready. Henry whistled back and said, So am I. Pull hard, pull hard, pull hard, puffed Edward. We'll do it, puffed Henry. Pull hard, we'll do it. Pull hard, we'll do it. Pull hard, we'll do it, they puffed together. The heavy coaches slowly began to move forward. Then they got faster, faster, and faster. We've done it together, we've done it together, we've done it together, the two engines said. You've done it, hooray, you've done it, hooray, you've done it, hooray, sang the coaches. All the passengers were excited. The fat director leaned out of the window to wave to Edward and Henry, but the train was going so fast that his hat blew off into a field where a goat ate it for his tea. They never stopped until they came to the big station at the end of the line. All the passengers got out and said, Thank you, and the fat director promised Henry a new coat of paint. Would you like blue and red? Yes, please, said Henry. Then I'll be like Edward. Edward and Henry went home quietly, and on their way they helped Gordon back to the shed. All three engines are now great friends. Wasn't Henry pleased when he had his new coat? He's very proud of it, as all good engines are. But he doesn't mind the rain now, because he knows that the best way to keep his paint nice is not to run into tunnels, but to ask his driver to rub him down when the day's work is over. And that was my reading of the Three Rail Engines. The first 4 stories that would start probably one of the greatest but well overlooked franchises in history, at least in my opinion anyway.